Steve Harvey, let's keep this shit funky. Steve Harvey is on his third marriage. His third wife was mistress to his second wife. Yet, black people have anointed this motherfucker the oracle when it comes to black dating. This nigga wrote a book on dating. With all respect, why can't we pick a nigga that know what he's talking about? Not D.L. Hughley, married for 25 years, same woman.
Hello, with your girl, meet me in the middle. Yes, today we're unwinding from the middle with Uncle Steve, y'all, and his shiggity. Oh no, he said, y'all better leave Marjorie alone. She not sleeping with my bodyguard or her bodyguard. Okay, I'm Marjorie's bodyguard, and the only person she's sleeping with is me, Steve Harvey, honey. But you know what? Steve is not worried about anything but the truth, his truth. You know, he worked hard. You know, he just have to live his best life because you know what? Marjorie is definitely living her best life. She found somebody to work 9 to 5 for her so she can sit down on her derriere and have several seats. And I don't blame the chick. So if you will, follow me and I'll meet you there, and let's see what Uncle Steve and all his shiggity is about.
Steve Harvey spent his weekend clearing the air and confronting rumors about his professional and personal life. First, apologizing for a now deleted tweet coming from his account asking to name a comedian you don't find funny. As soon as the tweet was published, it stood out from anything else on Steve Harvey's page, which is why a lot of his followers assume the tweet didn't come from Harvey himself. From the last few decades, Harvey has built a brand based on positivity and entrepreneurship. But many thought the viral tweet went against everything he stood for. After people expressed their displeasure, Harvey took the time to address the situation directly.
All right, I got to take some time to address this here. I came down here to get away, get in some nature, do some fishing. Somebody works for me on my Twitter, put a statement out that was totally negative. I got to take responsibility for it because they work for me. But the engagement was talking about name a comedian you don't think is funny. Why would I do something like that? That don't even make no damn sense. My whole brand is to be motivational. And I'm going to turn around and say something like that. You don't know where these young people at in their career, man. They could be coming up in anything. I'm all about positivity. I would have never done nothing like that. I'm so pissed off right now, man. Talking about I was trying to get some engagement. Okay, be trying to get some employment too. My bad, y'all. Now I got to come on here and do something, doing a damn selfie. So here it is. I'm sorry, man. My bad, y'all. Won't happen again, though.
Then shortly after Harvey came out to apologize for the tweet, rumors began circulating about his marriage to Marjorie Harvey. After these rumors gained steam, a TikTok video was shared with Steve on stage during InvestFest 2023 in Atlanta, Georgia, denying those same rumors.
Before I get started, just let me say, I'm fine. Marjorie's fine. I don't know what y'all doing, but find something else to do. Because we fine. Okay. Lord have mercy.
That same night, Steve's wife, Marjorie, would take the time to comment on the rumors via her Instagram. She would post an article with the caption, "How to Handle Being Lied About." The article came with a Bible verse that read, "When they hurled their insults at him, he did not retaliate. When he suffered, he made no threats. Instead, he entrusted himself to him who judges justly." Now, Marjorie would accompany that post along with a caption that said, "My husband and I usually don't stop to address all the foolishness and lies that have been spread about us. However, to whom much is given, much is required. I understand that with my platform comes some sort of responsibility to those that may not be as strong as we are. Read and share this with your loved ones that may not know how to properly cope. God bless all of you." This happened all on Sunday, August 27th, and since then, Steve has been active on Twitter, sharing stories about the early days between him and Marjorie. First, he would share an animated video explaining how they met in the 1980s, when Steve was an up-and-coming comedian. The two would later be reconnected in the mid-2000s after the two had divorced their respective spouses, and they've been together ever since. Steve would share another video of himself explaining the same story, but this time on the set of Family Feud.
I met her at a comedy club in 1986. She walked in late. I was on stage performing. I stopped my show, I looked at her. I looked at her and I said, "Hey lady, I don't know who you are, but I'm gonna marry you one day." That was the very first thing I ever said to her. I got in trouble, lost everything. You know, wasn't no cell phones back then, so. We dated for about a year and a half. So I just quit going to Memphis. She got married, I got married. We had our children in the exact same year. Lori and Winton were born in the exact same year. My sons, Steve and Jason, were born in the exact same year. I got divorced in 2005. I was out in Vegas. My bodyguard knew Marjorie's girlfriend and called her and said, "Hey, you ever keep up with Marjorie?" And they started talking. He said, "Hey, dog, I got somebody want to talk to you." I said, "I'm gambling, man. I don't talk to nobody." He said, "No, you're going to want to hear it." I hadn't heard her voice. I said, "Hello?" She said, "Boy, what you want?" I said, "Marjorie?" The first thing I said, "How your punk ass husband doing?" Because I knew she had got married. She said, "Boy, I've been divorced 3 years." Got a private jet the next day. Flew to Memphis, told I was divorced. She didn't believe me. And she said, "When'd you get divorced?" "Yesterday." You know, that sounds like a lie. For 3 months, she wouldn't talk to me because she thought I was lying. Finally, I convinced her. She had read somewhere I got divorced, and then I went back out to Memphis, had dinner with her, and then I asked her to come to New York for dinner. She wouldn't stay with me or nothing. She came to New York, told her I was in love with her, always been in love with her. I told her I was gonna marry you. So now, I'm gonna marry you one day. We'll just get together. We've been together ever since. Same chick.
For years, Steve Harvey has received criticism for the relationship advice he's offered through his talk and radio shows, as well as his book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, which was turned into a hit movie. The main problem people see with Steve's relationship advice is that he's been married 3 times. Back in 2017, shortly after Steve visited the White House to talk to then President Donald Trump, Tony Rock would ask,
Who the picked Steve Harvey as the representative for all things black? Steve Harvey, let's keep this shit funky. Steve Harvey is on his 3rd marriage. His 3rd wife was mistress to his 2nd wife. Yet, black people have anointed this motherfucker the oracle when it comes to black dating. This nigga wrote a book on dating. With all respect, why can't we pick a nigga that know what he's talking about? Not D.L. Hughley, married for 25 years, same woman. Steve Harvey.
This has been a reoccurring argument against Steve Harvey's dating advice, as some have expressed that Steve is not qualified to speak on what it takes to build and maintain a successful relationship after coming short in his own relationships on 2 separate occasions. Let's dive into this. I know we've seen Steve Harvey kind of going viral for these last few weeks, one for his, his tweet, but then now for what we're seeing with Marjorie and him and I guess all the rumors. Let me first start, what's your reaction to it? And did you even know anything about the rumors before Steve mentioned it on stage?
Yeah, I saw the rumor. Somebody like Steve Harvey, a rumor like that's something, let's be honest, people have been waiting for some type of gap seed to drop about them too for a hot minute. And it just seemed like when that came out, when I saw it, and then I saw what outlet posted it, I was like, I don't know this outlet. So immediately for me, I was like, okay, just let me graze over this. I didn't pay too much attention to it. And then it started to people started doing think pieces on it, of course, on Twitter and giving their 5 cents. And of course, coming after Marjorie and her controversial past and what people think about her. And then when he addressed it at InvestFest, he did so in good old Unc fashion. Literally, Steve Harvey addressed all of the things from last week in a good old uncle fashion. If you see Uncle come on doing a selfie video, he mad. He mad. If you see him go to an event with all them people and he addressed that, he was upset. So that was my reaction to it. I was like, who y'all piss Uncle off?
Yeah, no, I definitely felt the same way. It was very Uncle Spirit. Even seeing his video when he talked about when I have to come online and do a selfie video, like when he said that, that's when I knew. I was like, and then he coughed and kept going. So I was like, yeah, he's upset because anybody else would have redone that video to make sure it was perfect. But Uncle was like, yeah, no, let me get this message and get on about my business. Now, one thing Marjorie did mention is that, normally in situations like this, her and Steve, they stray away from addressing things. And as you mentioned, Steve had to, feel some type of a way. I don't know if he's upset, mad, or exactly what his emotion was, but he definitely felt a way and expressed so himself. Do you think celebrities should take the time to, go on stages or make videos to clear reports or clear rumors that are being spread about them? Or do you think it should be a more hands-off situation?
It depends on what the rumor is. We've heard a lot of rumors about Steve Harvey throughout the years, and I think for them too, it's just a goddamn moment, like just cool off on us. But at the same time, Uncle and Auntie, Unc opened himself up to this level of criticism doing two things. Number one, the relationship advice and also putting their love on display so much, which I adore. But at the same time, there is a part of the story that is missing, and that is they met in 1987. He said that he looked at her in the show and told her that this is the woman that I'm going to marry. But Uncle, you was married to somebody else at that time. So there's a part of the story that's missing, that's not being addressed. At least I haven't heard it being addressed. I'm 30, I'm a millennial. I don't know if maybe back in the day it was addressed, but for now, that part of the story, you have to let's talk about that, Uncle and Annie. I'm not knocking you guys. Love is love. But let's tell the story. Let's tell the complete story.
Yeah, and I know we played a couple clips of him kind of telling those stories, but we will also see in those clips Tony Rock would comment on, as you mentioned, like the relationship advice and just feeling like it's, he's not the person to give the relationship advice. What are your thoughts there? Why do you think so many people find issue with, I guess I'll say, because people aren't perfect, right? Like their only perfect man I know is Jesus, right? So nobody's perfect. You kind of go through life to learn things, more lessons, more life. You learn things as you go and you gain more knowledge. Do you not feel that Steve just kind of has that background of, experiencing things to speak on it? Or do you think people who kind of have been in those situations shouldn't speak on relationships, as Tony Rock mentioned?
I think if you're going to speak on it, tell the truth, tell the whole story. We've heard all the OG comedians say that, Marjorie was his mistress. Looking at the timeline, like that's what you leaving yourself open now, because in 1987, Uncle, you was married to somebody else. So, and then in their love story, it was said that they had a full-on relationship. I don't know, maybe him and his wife were separated. We don't know. But we don't know because you're not telling us the full story. And I think that's what Tony those are getting at. Like, bro, if you could do this relationship advice thing, then talk the full story. Like, just don't talk about the highs, and just not talk about selective lows. If you could talk your story, like, talk it.
Yeah, and I think something else you mentioned too, I think a lot of people, because of nobody's been able to fill in those gaps, it's almost like people have been waiting for this moment to hear that something has gone wrong between Steve and Marjorie. So let me ask you, why do you think people are, made this so big to hear or allegedly hear that Marjorie, cheated on Steve? Why do you think people swarm to it so quickly?
Again, because we want them. Let me not say, no, I'm going to say it because we're all human beings. We'd be looking for the opportunity for you to mess up and for us to say, oh, so what we were saying was true. It's that aha moment. It's like that, yeah, we got a moment. Let's be honest, people have called Marjorie a gold digger. People have called her a home wrecker. People have called that woman out of her name. So when the story came out, even if you didn't say anything about it, it was sort of smirk in the back of your mind, like, yeah, that's good for Steve. And look who she cheated on him with, So I think that's why it blew up the way it blew up. And I think the reason why Uncle Steve and Marjorie were so upset, because Marjorie's upset. If you quote scripture, you mad. She was so upset because it seems like the world is praying for something to go down inside of our marriage and for us to separate. Meanwhile, in between time, we're out here just trying to display love, black love out there. So yeah, I think that's why people hop it down on that. You got to be honest with ourselves.
Yeah, no, I love the honesty. Now, before I let you go, I know we've discussed this, but as I mentioned earlier, Steve would then now address like, hey, it wasn't me, it was someone from my team. When you saw the video, I know you said it was definitely a good uncle response, but what was your reaction knowing, that he's confirming, hey, that was not me, but a member of my team?
Who get fired? Like, I can imagine him walking inside that business room, and how he's lick his lips from one side of his mouth to the next, and look at here. Which one of y'all? Like, I could imagine that, and him just going off in that room, because honestly and truly, Uncle Steve don't bother. When he is out there, he's giving inspirational advice. He's become, I'm calling him Uncle Steve. So he's sort of like that iconic parental figure, so to speak of, the uncle that's at the cookout that have the cigar in his mouth with his feet crossed. So that was my reaction when I saw that. And then I didn't even see that tweet. I did not see that tweet in terms of who do you think is not funny. I saw when Jess Hilarious responded to it, but I didn't see the original tweet. And then when I saw the video of him coming online, and again, I think he said, look at here. When you say, that's it. I'm from the Bahamas. We might say, but look here, or but what going on, or when mother said, but for y'all, when Unc say, now look at here, that's a wrap. That's it.
Yeah,
He mad.
Yeah, and I was very surprised to know that like it didn't go through him before being tweeted, because as I mentioned when we covered it the first time, I've known a couple people to work for him, and it's very much like a protocol in order for certain things to happen. So I was very surprised, and I hope that something is put in place so he's not put in this predicament again, because you could really tell in that video he was bothered and upset, and it seemed like hurt too, because he's did so well at establishing a brand that to hear people say like you meant to do it and people feel away, it seemed it did hurt him. What were we gonna add?
I would say this though, I think that maybe it was somebody new or younger, honestly, and this is just my opinion. Maybe somebody new or somebody younger. Sometimes we get carried away with our over ambitiousness, or it's like, oh, we want him to be relatable and we want him to be trending and stuff like that. So I think that's what it was from the team. And I will say this is just something random out there. This is why I honestly believe that when building a team, you need balance. You need seniority, and you also need that young, vivacious mind as well. And the seniority will be able to rein back that young, vivacious mind into the politics and into the brand that has been built over the years. So I think that's also important. Hopefully, I was only joking. Hopefully, whoever do that, hopefully you won't get fired. Maybe you got 9 lives, maybe you got 3 strikes, but I hope this one wasn't it, but because he's still trending. He's trending.
He is, yeah. Not for the reasons that he wants to, but definitely trending right now.
Hey, thanks for meeting your girl in the middle and unwinding with Uncle Steve Shiggity. Honey, he got some stuff going on where at least other people minding his business has some stuff going on. But hey, I appreciate y'all for watching this with me. I don't like watching gossip and commenting on things by myself. I got the middle family to do this with me. So y'all come on and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Did I say hit that notification bell? Beat that notification bell and make those awesome comments. Until next time, thanks for watching.